Two Means, Two Genders, One Group Project. The presentation on Topic 3 by Group 6. In this project, we compared the average backpack weight of female college students and male college students. We wanted to see if there was a weight difference between the two genders. To do this, we tested the null hypothesis. Male backpacks weigh the same as female backpacks. With the alternate hypothesis, male backpacks do not weigh the same as female backpacks. Before we could start collecting data, we had some work to do. Our first priority was to define a backpack. Did a purse count? Did it need one strap or two? Did size really matter? We chose to define a backpack as any bag held on at least one shoulder that could hold a medium-sized textbook, roughly 8 inches by 8 inches by 1 inch. Then we needed to decide how to weigh the backpacks. We decided to directly weigh the backpacks on the scale, as opposed to having a group member step on the scale with the backpacks and subtract that group member's weight. Finally, we chose 2 locations to gather our information. Our first location was in the BYU Idaho campus in the Crossroads. Our second location was in the LDS Business College Student Commons. As you can tell from this chart, we gathered 79 observations, 40 male and 39 female. The female mean weight was 12.462 pounds. The male mean weight was 12.582 pounds. Females had a larger standard of deviation at 4.6393 compared to the male standard deviation of weights at 3.84. This is further illustrated in the histograms and QQ plots in the next 2 slides. Should you need more time to view these charts, feel free to pause the video. Because we have 2 different sets of data, we need to determine whether equal variance can be assumed. To determine this, we refer to the standard deviation in the group statistics table. If the larger standard deviation is twice as large or more than twice as large as the smaller standard deviation, equal variance is not assumed. If the larger standard deviation is less than twice as large, then the 2 variables are close enough to be assumed equal. In our example, the female standard deviation is 4.6393 and the male standard deviation is 3.84. The female standard deviation is larger than the male. Since the female standard deviation is less than twice as large as the male standard deviation, the 2 variances can be assumed equal. Therefore, in the independent samples test table, we will refer to the equal variance assumed row, circled in green. As you can see from this chart, our sample test statistic, t, is negative 0.126. Our degree of freedom is 77. The p-value, listed under sig two-tailed, is 0.9. We used a 95% confidence interval, lower bound negative 2.0269 and upper bound 1.7850. This means we can be 95% confident that the mean difference between the weight of the male and female backpacks is between negative 2.0269 and 1.7850. This means we can be 95% confident that the mean difference between the weight of the male and female backpacks is between negative 2.0269 and 1.7850. Because the confidence interval contains 0, there is not sufficient evidence to conclude that there is a difference between the backpack weights of male and females. We also compared the p-value in alpha levels. Because the p-value, 0.9, is greater than the alpha, 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Through this project, we learned the steps of doing a hands-on research study and experienced the satisfaction of seeing our own results. We noticed that men and women tend to carry roughly the same amount of weight in their backpacks, although our data is a little skewed by at least one extreme outlier on the female side. This was slightly surprising, as females tend to carry smaller bags. We determined that we all must have way too much homework, requiring textbooks that are not only too expensive, but also too large and heavy. After viewing that data, we recommend that individuals carrying around heavy backpacks wear both straps on the back to reduce back strain regardless of gender. If a backpack provides waist straps, use them. They allow the weight to sit over the hips instead of pulling all weight onto the shoulders. If a heavy backpack is unavoidable, we also recommend going to a chiropractor regularly.